Welcome back to the Triple Threat Podcast. My name is Ishan Chef. Alongside me is William and we are back for part 4 of our quarterback rankings. We'll be going through 20 to 17, and we have some pretty fun names on this list. So, before we get into the content, be sure to subscribe and check out the first 3 installments of the series, and check out some of the football card unboxings and our NBA predictions that we've done before on YouTube or wherever you're watching. And also, be sure to check out triplethreatpodcast.com. We have a lot of good content on there that's not mentioned on the podcast, and we will be publishing these rankings on the website very soon. So starting off, we have Ben Roethlisberger at 20. He's been on a now up and down Steelers team. So what are your thoughts on Roethlisberger?
So a lot of people were calling for him to be in the MVP conversation when they were 11-0. And I was like, I'm going to ease off on the conversation. You're just looking at the box score about the win-loss record. It's a lot more than that. I mean, as much as the NFL is a quarterback league, it's not all about the quarterback success and how they determine the team's success. So his stock dramatically inflated because their run game is non-existent. Carr's been banged up, and he hasn't been great when healthy. And then you look at the other guys they have on the team: Benny Snell, Anthony McFarland, and much of the last guy, Jalen Samuels. Not a great running back for a lot of guys. Just they haven't been able to be successful. They just haven't been able to give them the chance. So instead of having the run game, they supplant that with a short passing game. So basically, Ben Roethlisberger doing both passing and short and rushing statistics for the entire team, which that's why he leads the NFL in pass attempts, and he has the 3rd worst intended area for completion because he's really using those short passing games as a running game. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can have a really successful offense with that. But we've seen as of late, you can't win these close football games against good teams. Like when you're having to play good teams and come back, they still haven't been able to really punish anyone. And a lot of that is because the receivers draw. Ben Roethlisberger hasn't been great. His time to throw is the lowest in the league at 2.1. Good. Getting the ball out quickly at his age is something great. The receiving core is it's a good, but they lead the league in the NFL in drop balls. And that's probably because they have so many catches to go around, because they lead the league in passing attempts. It could be a placement issue as well, with a negative 2.1 expected completion percentage. So it's really hard to see, but he's sitting 17th in accurate passes. And for someone that's having that short of a passing game, being 17th in accurate passes just isn't a great indicator of being a great quarterback. I think he's been quite overrated this season, so I think 20 is about fair for him.
Yeah, he's played pretty well in some instances, but as you said, all the short passes and the frequency of the short passes, combined with the fact that he's about average for eligible quarterbacks in accuracy and probably around the same in ball percentage, if you could do a quick check on that, that just shows that he's getting up there in age, and it helps when you have 3 to 4 serviceable receivers at your service in Washington: Johnson, Smith-Schuster, and Claypool.
He's 23rd in bad ball percentage, which is just it's solid.
That's pretty solid.
It's pretty solid. It's not awful, but it's not good.
So moving on to the quarterback that he's actually playing against this week and right now, as we speak of, Phillip Rivers of the Indianapolis Colts. They've also been a great team, another really good defense. How has Rivers impacted the Colts, and has he been an upgrade over some of the other guys that they had last year, like Brissett?
It's hard to say. Brissett started the season really well before the injury. I think before the injury, they're probably playing at a similar level, but I think Rivers' experience and just adjustments at line of scrimmage make him a better fit, or just better player for a good contending team. He's 80th in QBR. I'm at 19. I mean, I made this rankings, a couple days ago, and it's clearly showing right now who's the better quarterback, Rivers or Roethlisberger. It doesn't even look that close. We saw with that deep shot to Zach Pascal. The ball's a little bit behind, but I mean, it's a great ball, throwing the receiver open, just knowing the coverage, cover 2, I believe. I mean, I haven't really looked at that game a lot, but I think it was a cover 2, just throw it in the middle of the field, get that seam route, perfect. He's 10th fewest intended air yards and time to throw with a stellar pressure rate of 14.7. So The O line's been really good. Not as there's a lot. I mean, he was working with an awful offensive line in LA. So just going to the going to the Colts with a great O line, a little bit worse than last season, but still really really good. He's much improved. He's now at 70 complete percentage, only 16th in bad balls. Like last season, he was probably I don't know the statistics. I can pull it up real quick, but he was not good in bad balls. Like he was just errant passer. He was just throwing wherever he wanted to. So I feel like this season he's had this chance to calm down. He's got a better system around him. He's got a really, really good running back. So I think that we can just look at that and say, hey, he's doing a lot better. I'm pulling up the bad ball statistics right now. And he was not as bad as I thought. Ooh, where is Philip Rivers? One thing is surprising when I'm looking at this right now. Aaron Rodgers led the league last season in bad balls ahead of Jameis Winston. So
That
that's
is a shocker.
that's crazy. Phil Rivers was 26 last season. He wasn't that bad in bad balls, but when I tell you he had some errant throws, you have to look at the tape. Statistics won't tell the whole story all the time, but he was an errant passer. So he's really cleaned it up. His turnover rate is gone way, way down. I think right now, if you look at Philip Rivers, I think his interception numbers are he's 9, less than 10. That's really, really solid for him. If you look at last season, Philip Rivers had 20. So much improved ball security. I think that that's just been one of the main reasons why he's been a better quarterback this season. And I think that he's solid. He's a solid quarterback.
Yeah, especially with Jonathan Taylor playing well. Now he's improved as of late. I think that Rivers has, gotten better as well too. So I'm pretty sure Rivers will not be there next season. Is there a trade or free agency target, or even a draft target for Indy?
I think he's got one more year in his deal, so I think he probably will stay out another year in Indianapolis. But if not, I could see them maybe going on a flyer with maybe one of their guys in house, Brissett. He's also a free agent this season, and Jacob Eason. I think that
Yeah,
you could see a trade for Sam Darnold for Carson Wentz, but if I'm them, I'm going to look in the draft. You don't have a draft pick, but there's not a lot of guys that need a quarterback, and you could probably get a Kyle Trask at their spot, like or a Mac Jones. Like there's a lot of good quarterbacks. There's around 7, 8 good quarterbacks in this draft class, and there's not 7, 8 teams that need one this season. So you can probably get one of the good guys, have him develop, probably re-sign Brissett for a 1 year deal, and or re-sign Rivers for a 1 year deal, and have your guy in house for the future. So I think Indianapolis is pretty well set right now.
yeah. So moving on to number 18, we have Derek Carr of the Las Vegas Raiders. They just got eliminated from playoff contention, but they had a pretty decent season, especially a much better start to the season as they did not finish too well. How is Carr been playing in relation to some of the other quarterbacks in the division?
He's probably been the third best quarterback in the division behind Justin Herbert and Pat Mahomes. I think that Derek Carr he's a solid quarterback. I mean, he's fine, but the thing is he's not leading this team to the playoffs. He hasn't looked the same since the injury. And in the NFL, you always have to be looking for the better options. And if you're Derek Carr, I mean, Mariota played really well when he stepped in after that groin injury. Carr battled through. We played last week. I think Carr has the ability to be a playoff quarterback, but he's not getting the job done for a Raiders team, which isn't that strong in terms of their roster strength. He's 8th in yards after catch. His receivers are getting a lot of yards. He's 3rd and on target, and so he's just really accurate as a passer this season. But he's just middle of the road in a lot of statistics. He's not really contributing that much to wins, and he's been solid. He's been all right. There's not really much to say about him. I guess we can look up into his PFF grading. PFF has him at 10. So I have him a little bit lower at 18, but he's just been all right. He's been solid.
Yeah, he he's pretty much middle of the road for all the other advanced stats that we've mentioned in the previous quarterbacks. So moving on to number 17, we have Baker Mayfield of the Cleveland Browns. And how much of an impact does the run game have on his production? Because at times he has not been very good. And how much does that run game kind of supplement his inabilities.
Oh, it's huge. The run game does a lot. From a defensive standpoint, when you're trying to stop the run every play, because you've got that great dual-headed monster in the backfield in Hunt and Chubb. I mean, it takes a lot of the pressure off the quarterback, and Baker Mayfield really benefited from that. So he's really benefited from having Stefanski as just the head coach this season and offensive play caller. Even though I didn't think Stefanski was a great hire, he's proved to be a really good running coach. I was attributing a lot of that success to Kubiak in Minnesota, but clearly he's learned, and clearly it's been very effective for them. So Baker Mayfield's 7th in play action, so he's been really well. I think he's. I can't remember what I put down. I put down 6th in pressure. So let me go check if that's 6th least in pressure or 6th most in pressure, because that makes a big difference. He is 6th least in pressure. So he is getting a lot better protection of his offensive line this season. A lot of that probably is because the pass rush can't really focus on getting to the quarterback. They can't pin their ears back because, one, they have to contain the run. And also, they get much improved offensive line. Tristan Wirfs, Jack Conklin, 2 great new tackles they added to that team. And then Wyatt Teller and Batonio have been really solid in the interior. So overall, they have a really good offensive line. And Baker in pressure was a disaster last season. And that's why he's blitzed the 10th most in the league. So I think that his offensive line did a great job keeping him cool, even though he has the tied highest time to throw at 2.7. So I don't know why he's holding onto the ball for so long. So he's being a little bit aggressive in the passing game. So considering he lost Odell Beckham, I think that's a little strange why they're trying to target a deeper passing game. But with great pressure, I mean, they can do it. Baker Mayfield's been pretty, he's taken over some games. Look at Tennessee. He's played really well at times and taken over games with his passing game. But a lot of it's due to the defense's ability to key in on the run, or they have to if they want to have a chance to win the game. I mean, he's looked good. They have 10 wins with a great run game. He's taken a step in the right direction, looking back to that rookie self he had. I think he's got the 2nd highest intended air yards on completions, which is impressive, especially without Odell out. So I think that he's completing at a high clip. 2nd intended air yards on completions. That's really, really impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's still a young quarterback. It's his 3rd year in the league. And while there are flaws in this game, he's definitely improved. Is he the long-term answer going forward?
Personally, if he's asking for like Carson Wentz, Jared Goff money, I would probably just stick it out with someone else. I think he's got the ability to be a quarterback that Cleveland can win with, but I think that a lot of times with quarterbacks, the price is right. You see with a lot of teams contending. If you're not playing Deshaun Watson, Pat Mahomes level, I think that I'd rather take a chance on someone else, and I think that's what I would do. Yeah, I think he can, but overall, if you're not a top guy, I think it's always worth finding someone with a lower contract, because we've seen success. You either have to be the best quarterback in the league, or you have to be on a cheap rookie contract. So I think Big Mayfield could be the answer. It just depends on the money situation. And if he's asking for over 25, I wouldn't do it.
So that concludes number 20 through 17. Just to conclude it, we had Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, Derek Carr, Baker Mayfield, all on teams that were pretty good this season, 3 of which are on teams that are contending for a playoff spot or have clinched a playoff spot in Roethlisberger's case. So now in the next episodes, we'll be moving into the top half of our quarterback rankings. Guys that have really good futures or could be leaders on championship level teams. So that concludes our episode. Be sure to subscribe and have a great day.